So I just got back from watching Pet Sematary, and for some reason, as the credits were going up, it made me think about my dog when I was a little boy. Um, some jerk poisoned the very first dog I ever owned, that me and my brothers owned, um, and we were devastated. And the reason I was thinking about that dog when the credits were rolling out after Pet Cemetery is that I have no idea what happened to the dog. I know he died. I know he was poisoned. I saw his dead body because I found it, but I don't think we buried it. So I think I need to call my dad and say, "Hey, Dad, remember our dog that was poisoned? What happened to it?" Anyways, here's my review of Pet Cemetery, the new version, and this just shows that sometimes remake is better. Hey everybody, this is Ramon El Magnifico, and welcome once again to El Magnifico at the movies. And tonight I will be reviewing Pet Cemetery. So this is a remake of a movie that was made in 1989, based on the Stephen King novel of the same name, Pet Cemetery. And yes, that's how it's spelled in the book. So brief synopsis of the story. This is the story of a family that moves from Boston to the woods in Maine, and in their property there's a pet cemetery. And once they find it and they use it, mysterious and creepy things begin to happen. Anyways, so the big thing about this movie, outside of the fact that it's awesome, is that unfortunately something very important was spoiled in the trailers. So if you saw the trailers, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're familiar with the story or with the previous version of this movie. But let's talk about a lot of the things that I like, which includes the actors. So Jason Clark plays Lewis, the father in the family, and his performance was fantastic. Even though his character, I don't think, was developed very well, he did an outstanding job with his performance, portraying the grief when the moment requires it. And I don't think his arc has a lot of growth, but it's very important to the plot and to the story. I really think that, and I hopefully I'm saying her name right, Amy Simetz, Simetz, um, who plays Rachel, the mother in the family. That's a fantastic job. Now, her character, even though she doesn't get a lot of screen time as Jason Clark's Lewis, her character has more development in her backstory. There's something that happened in her infancy, when she was little, I should say, not her infancy, when she was younger, that affects her life and the way that she tries to deal with loss, and how she wants to explain that to her daughter, who is played phenomenally. And I cannot give her enough kudos, because I don't think this movie would have worked if they had not cast this young lady, because and her name is Jete Lawrence. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Jete. It's got a little accent on the last D. And she was outstanding in this movie. She portrays Ellie, the daughter, of course, and her character. Like I said, if she had not been able to portray the change in Ellie throughout the movie, and how dark the character gets, I don't think it would. This movie would have worked. So I'm going to try not to spoil the movie and the big thing, but like I said, this part was ruined in the trailers. It was shown in the trailers. In the story, and I'm not familiar with the source material because I have not read any of Stephen King's novels. I have a list of all the books that I want to read. They're part of it. And in the book and in the original movie, it's not Ellie who goes through the change. It's her younger brother. Um, so that was ruined in the trailer. So if you've seen that or if you're familiar with the 1989 version of this movie, you know that. Sorry if I spoiled it for you, but like I said, Jete is terrific in as Ellie, and John Lithgow as Judd, I believe, uh, was great as well. Um, in the original movie, it was this character was played by, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he played Herman Munster, and he was in My Cousin Vinny. He played the judge in My Cousin Vinny. I'll put his name right here, but he played him. He had like a southern drawl, and more. He came off as more of a hick. In this version of the story, John Lithgow does not portray him that way. And the only thing that I wish about his character, because he was great and I love the character, but there's a moment where he's out on his yard, at a campfire, and he's smoking a cigarette. Oh man, I so wish that he would have been smoking a pipe instead. But that's nothing to do with the story. That's just wishful thinking on my part as a pipe smoker myself. But what I was going to say is that uh, his character is great. The movie is fantastic. It has a little bit of a slow beginning, but that's because that's when they do a lot of the exposition and explaining a lot of what's going on. But I think it worked for me because as an audience member that doesn't know anything about the source material, you need to know what's going on at the beginning. So when everything goes crazy after Ellie comes back, let's just say, everything makes sense. And the ending, I love the ending, and I don't know if they're thinking of doing a sequel or not, but I think it opened the door for the possibility of a sequel. And I thought it was fantastic, and it took guts to do this type of ending. I understand that it's different from the source material, and it is definitely not the same ending as in the '89 version of this movie. But I loved it. So if you like scary movies, this has creep factor for sure. It's got a little bit of gore, and what makes a good horror movie or scary movie is ambience, and they build the ambience. There's definitely moments when I'm just sitting, holding my mouth, waiting for to see what happened next. And there's only one moment where I didn't yell per se, but I definitely went, "Oh, dude!" Because I didn't think it was going to go in that direction. But I loved it. I would give this movie definitely a solid thumb. No, you know what? I'll go ahead and give it 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it, so 2 thumbs ups for sure, and 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this movie. I hope you go see it. Let me know once you see it. Let me know what you think about it. If you like this review, go ahead and click, hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel so that you can watch my other reviews. Check out my review of Shazam, which I did a couple of weeks ago because I was fortunate enough to see it early, and it's fantastic. I'll put the link to that video in the description of this video. Check out my other movie reviews. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the El Magnifico. And until my next movie review, which should be next week, may God bless you all. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Ciao.